Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming to this session. I love the fact that I only have to speak for 20 minutes. Because the rest of the time is really your time, and I hope we have uh, uh, some good dialogue between us. Uh, Beverly said, choose something you're passionate about. And, some of my staff are here, and they will tell you that what I speak about all the time when I'm on rounds, when I'm speaking with them, when I'm out in the community. We had about 8,900 people we served on Sunday at a health fair event. Some of us still have the sore feet. Convention centers are always that way. But, so wherever I'm at, I'm always talking about this thing that I'm so passionate about, and that's the essence of nursing, which is human caring. And that essence drives me every day. And so I see it as a gift to the world that we give, and why we continue to be the most trusted profession in the United States. I have nothing to disclose. Okay, so I'm going to give you my definition of human caring leadership. I'm going to talk a little bit about some actions in human caring work, about consumer engagement, about employee engagement, and then provide some thoughts for your consideration as we move into the discussion. So here's my definition. Mindful and respectful commitment. Mindful, actually thinking about it, having not just being impassionate about it, being very passionate about working with others to promote health and well-being. Acquiring and using knowledge. I say all the time, I couldn't take my 70s brain, that's when I graduated from nursing school, and then go out and try to provide nursing care like I provided when I graduated from nursing school, right? So you have to be constantly about acquiring new knowledge. I read about 4 books a week. I make sure that I am constantly reading things that are outside healthcare, because to be the best, I have to continue to, nourish myself. And I see reading, and I don't tweet, so don't tweet me. I don't tweet, or I'm not into social media yet. And then engaging individuals. The most exciting thing is being able to engage and to be inclusive. The idea of just having a single thought, never get anyone in any place. You never ever make a change with just a single thought. And then provide a window for others to lead. No professional stinginess. Professional stinginess is when you have knowledge, you won't share it. You have skills and you won't display them for others to be able to learn. So no professional stinginess, that's part of that. So that opportunity is to look in the window. And someone came up to me today, said, I followed your career, I would love to be one of your mentees. I said, well, be careful what you ask for. Because if you are one of my mentees, you're gonna work. And it's, right? But the joy of watching others take their position, and the way that they will take those positions is they're able to look into your window, to be able to follow you and be able to gather information about how did you get from A to Z. So providing opportunities for others to look in the window is a part of that human caring journey. And it's important for each of us, and I hope each of you will do that. No professional stinginess. Must provide opportunities for others, and repeatedly ask the question about how might we? That open-ended question, how might we address this issue? Without saying that you always have to be the one with the answers. So leaders have to walk in both worlds. They have to, invite others in. They have to cast a very wide net, and they have to be action-oriented. So one of the things I love about doing rounds, and when I'm in my institution, I do at least 2 hours of rounds a day. And I like to be out there speaking to the people who I say I serve. My patients, our patients. Today's census, by the way, is 805. And the wonderful people who care for them. Those are my 2 customers. And so I can't know what's going on and demonstrate my caring without being present. So I do night rounds, I do weekend rounds. That's all about that human caring. So here's a few thoughts. We have to leap out versus edge out. Leap out means you have to be willing to stick your neck out and to be able to learn and to be able to engage others in that learning. You have to go out and grab those opportunities. You have to become obsessed with being the best, not for the sake of accolades or money, but for the sake of so that you can be of service to others. I truly believe that that essence of nursing being human caring is about being of service to others. That's how I keep my vitality going. And that's, I'm always purposeful and always trying to practice being inclusive. So that's other things about how might we achieve and sustain work environments that promote human caring. If you don't have a work environment where people feel joy at work, then they will not be able to give the best. You have to provide those types of environments. You can do it in a variety of ways, and there isn't any one way. You have to learn more about who are your people, what's important to them. So in my organization, we have I always get my numbers wrong. So there's 5,500 people in nursing, of which 3,000 of them are registered nurses. Another almost 700 of them are we call them clinical partners, which are nursing assistants. And then we have about 400 or so NCTs, those are ward clerks. It's funny how the different names we put on them. And then we have surgical techs and all of those, and they come from all over the world. And so when we talk about promoting a healing environment where people feel that they have joy at work, we have to find out. We can't assume. If you believe like I do that our gift is teaching others how to care for humans. That's our gift. It's not just caring for humans, it's teaching others how to care for humans. And we began by teaching them how to care for themselves. One of the things that we're happy to have in our institution is a wellness group. Because nurses are horrible. We are. If those of you who've known me for some time, I used to wear 4-inch heels. I don't wear them anymore. I had my hip replaced, that's it. So that learning how to care for humans and begins with learning how to care for self. And always being willing to mentor the next group of individuals and to invite the world of nurse and healthcare leaders on that journey. So part of my human caring is employee engagement. And so you want your employees to say, I like being here. I like the work that I do. You want your directors to say, I believe the organization values me and my contributions. If they feel valued, they will stay. Our turnover rate is less than 3%, and it's not just because of economics. The turnover rate in nursing, as you know, dropped because a lot of folks went back to work, right? But I don't think it's that. I think it's about that engagement. If you walk in my organization, you will hear people call me by all kinds of names. They're okay. Well, at least I think they're okay. But most of my staff, you will hear call me LBB. And it's a term of endearment for them. And it's not that I want to be their mother or their best friend, but it's because I value them and I make them feel good about the work that they do. And that's part of that human caring. So you want the COO and the chief nursing executives also to say, I'm proud to be part of a caring team. If they are not proud to be part of a caring team, they will not promote the type of environment that promotes human caring. You want to be able to engage consumers. And I deliberately use the word consumers because individuals are not always patients, right? When I was speaking, my Spanish is horrible, but when I was speaking on Sunday to some of the families that were at the convention center, they could tell that I cared about them by the way I looked at them, by the way I touched them. Even if I couldn't get all of my Spanish words right, they knew I cared. And that's the part of nursing that I hope never goes away. That sense of, I care about you as an individual. So, we want to be able to make it known to them that they have the possibility. We must have enrolled a good 10,000 people in Covered California on Sunday, which is great. To make sure that they have access to care. We must be willing to work with them to design the healthcare delivery system. We're not the experts. How can we be the experts about everyone? We can't. We have to work with individuals to design it. And so I love having consumer counsel. We have a great one in our pediatric area. We have a great one on our cancer center. We have a great one on our heart institute. But I would love to have more of the consumers actually being engaged. We have to be, as human caring leaders, willing to break down barriers. My number one job is to remove the barriers so people can do the work. That's my job. And my second part of my job is to be inspirational. You've got to be able to inspire people to do their very best and create that sense of belonging. You know how you walk in an organization and you can tell there's a sense of a belonging? And you can also walk in an organization and tell that it's toxic, right? And so as leaders in human caring, we have to create those type of environments that are the sense of belonging that help individuals and teams to be successful. We have to promote both disruptive and purposeful leadership. There is actually a group called Disruptive Women. Sorry, guys. And I'm a member of the Disruptive Women group. And we go around disrupting to be able to promote innovation. And you can go on the website and find it. There's only about 100 of us in that group. So disruptive leadership is about walking in both worlds, a commitment to achieving the best outcomes and being open to new approaches that come out of disruptive innovation. I love this quote from Louis Pasteur: "Chance favors the prepared mind." So while we must be disruptive, we also must be prepared. That's what I mean by walking in those two worlds. So I want you to consider your leadership journey. And you begin by doing that self-assessment, a hard self-assessment, not the light self-assessment. Go deep in terms of what is it that you really want to be able to do? What is important to you? What are you willing to put your neck out for? And then you have to be willing to get feedback from others. Since my first mentor was a physician. I was working at Arizona State University, where I was from. I was working in believe it or not, a scorpion lab. It had Dr. Stanke's lab. That's his real name. And I was just doing typing. I wasn't doing anything with those scorpions. But what I learned from him was the value of reading, consistently reading. He opened my mind to reading scientific journals. And I was already in nursing school. So I started working with him when I was a sophomore in nursing school, 2 nights a week. And what I learned from my mentor, who was a banker, was the importance of giving. Because I've always been someone who, no matter how much money I made, I was going to give a portion of it away. It's just part of my upbringing. I'm the eldest of 12 children, and you have to learn to give when you're the eldest of 12 children. So, getting feedback from others. So I must have had, over my lifetime, maybe 15 or 20 different mentors, 4 of which are still very active with me. So you need to get that feedback from others, and then you have to find opportunities to lead. And I hope that you will find opportunities to lead in the best business in the world, and that's human caring. So being a leader is not being measured by the number of accolades, as I said, or positions you hold, but about being on that path to being your very best. And to make sure that you are engaging others as a part of that human caring journey. So I hope you will join me in that and commit to leading on behalf of the public. Not just in your job, but leading on behalf of the public, help us to get to a healthy society, help to remove the barriers, and be responsive when others seek your assistance. No professional stinginess. So this is my lifelong journey. I began with a goal. I always knew from the time I was 6 that I wanted to be a nurse. I was in and out of hospitals in Tucson, Arizona. And I knew, and that was still when the nuns wore the hats. And I liked the hat. And now, of course, I wouldn't let anybody wear a hat. But, but I loved that. And so I knew that I wanted to do that. I knew I also, though, wanted to be able to make a difference for others, and thought that leadership would be a way to accomplish that goal. So putting those two together is what led me to become a nurse executive. And I knew that it had to be, I had to have a wider influence than just in my own institution, which is why I sit on so many different boards. It's about removing the barriers to whatever will help the human condition. So now it's your turn.